privilege to have all of you here. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to actually come and join us for the second edition of East Africa Clean Expo. Our exhibitors who have been part of this wonderful journey, thank you so much for supporting. Without you, I don't think we'd have such a wonderful and successful event. Thank you so much for being our partners. The organizers, I know it's a big team, though most of the time me and Flora, we are the face, but we have a very big team that runs this event. Thank you so much. Even though most of you don't see you, I think they see a lot of work that we've done. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our visitors, welcome to our second edition of East Africa Clean Expo. Our first edition, we did it in 2019. That was the initial, and we had a lot of teething problems. We never knew that having such a wonderful event, the housekeepers event on a weekend, was a no-no for most of the housekeepers. We got to realize that housekeepers are very busy people, and that's why we appreciate all of you actually taking time off to be with us here. I know when we did our first exhibition, most housekeepers actually never knew about it, and that's why we brought in the Housekeeping Association of Kenya. Thank you so much, Chair and Dan and the whole team for meeting us and making sure that we are able to pull together such a wonderful event. This event actually, we began it just to make sure that we have a networking platform for the cleaning industry. As I said earlier, that most housekeepers are quite busy. This is an opportunity where now you can be able to come and meet the suppliers and manufacturers, and also to get to meet your fellow housekeepers, because I met one from Mombasa and he told me, wow, thank you so much. It's long since I saw some of the housekeepers. So take this opportunity, network with your colleagues. So when you need anything, this is the right platform. You get their contacts, and when you go back to institutions, please support them. And we'll be glad that this expo actually became a success, because now you are all networking. So as we start our summit this afternoon, I do welcome you very much. Thank you so much for your time, and we are glad that we have you here. Thank you.
It is indeed a matter of great honor for me to welcome all of you today. On behalf of the entire HHPA fraternity, to the Housekeepers Summit Clean Expo 2022. HHPA was established in the year 2015 with a vision to create future leaders of tomorrow and empower its membership by imparting education, knowledge, and skills. The objective of HHPA was not only to impart theoretical knowledge, but also to nurture our members and keep them rooted to professionalism and etiquette. It is highly thrilling to share that HHPA is on course to the heights of success and is nearing its goal to a larger extent. We are not there yet. However, with your support and resilience, we are on course. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 brought us to our knees and to a sharp halt, with many people losing jobs and many hotels closing down. It has been tough and painful, but I thank God that we are here and still optimistic that it shall be well. To make its members engage, we have been conducting regular seminars and workshops since 2015. We keep ourselves fresh and emerging in different topics in every workshop to keep members interested and engaged, motivate them to participate warmly and discuss and share their thoughts and opinion. Before COVID-19, during our last workshop, one of the topics was housekeeping budget, and it was a great success. Since budgeting has become the necessity of almost every manager, today especially the housekeepers, it is important that all the members keep their budgets in their hearts, because without controlling budgets, you'll find that our expenses will hit the roof. COVID-19 has changed the way people think about the world around them, and with it, how hotels, institutions, and resorts must operate in order to care and reassure travelers. While cleanliness of hotels has always been a deciding factor on where to stay, now more than ever, consumers and our guests will have an eagle eye on the measures your institution is taking to ensure their safety and well-being. Housekeepers must therefore take charge in their approach and walk through the hotels and institutions that they are in as if you are a client. Being a client will help you to see the things, or having the head of a client will help you to see things in a client's perspective. What areas are at a risk is a key question that housekeepers must continue to ask themselves. This includes the high-touch areas like the doorknobs, elevator buttons, lobby seating, the public areas, the phones, the rooms, and areas that we could not think of previously. Now our guests are aware that they could pose a danger to them. So it is also important that we take care of them and we take charge of them. Housekeeping has always been a central part of hotels' operation, and in the new normal, there will be even greater scrutiny on hotel cleanliness. Although the cost of cleaning and operation is expected to increase, hotels will be able to mitigate against this cost by adapting right processes. It will be more important than ever that managers utilize also technology and data to understand where the most time is being spent and where additional services or team members are needed. Cost management is necessary post-COVID, and every institution is saying we are resuming operations cautiously. Therefore, how we manage our overheads, how we look at our money is very, very key, and we need to embrace technology and data collection and analysis to help us make the right decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, as I open this year's Clean Expo 2022, it is my joy that members will be exposed to modernity in terms of machinery, technology, and materials in the cleaning world. And that is why we are here to interact today. Going around the various towns, I am convinced that members will not be disappointed, and I'm glad that we have come to witness a wealth of display from our partners. You all will feel enriched with knowledge after completion of this event. I welcome you all once again to this Expo 2022 and hope that you will have a great time ahead. I wish to thank all of you who have come today once again, and I want to say that we are free to interact, gain as much knowledge as possible, share our experiences as possible, and we are here with a variety of display that when we go back to our places of work, we know that as we go to make decisions, we will make informed decisions because of what we have seen and what we have gathered during this Clean Expo 2022. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
So basically, I will just take us through a brief about Kenya Bureau of Standards and bring out the tenets of how our association and Kenya Bureau of Standards can partner to ensure that we have quality products, and we also do have quality services that are available in the market. And then we have product and system certification. Under product certification, this is where we give the marks of quality from Kenya Bureau of Standards. We'll discuss them a bit in depth. And then under the system certification, Kenya Bureau of Standards, being the national standards body, represents KEBS in the ISO. ISO is International Organization for Standardization, the global standardization body. So KEBS is a member of ISO and ensures that the ISO standards that are developed. Now, if we sit to develop these ISO standards and then we are coming back here to certify you, do we have the knowledge? Do we have the experience? Of course, we understand them. So KEBS gives ISO certifications to various systems that are in place. We have quality management system, information security management system, business continuity management system. Especially after what we went through with COVID, it's important that we understand what is entailed in this business continuity management system. We have occupational health and safety. Even as we are going to various institutions to offer our housekeeping, how sure are we that we are safe? How do we ensure that our employees are safe? We undertake educational work in standardization and practical application of standard. This we do in different folds. The first fold, we do allow students in institutions of higher learning to pay KEBS a visit. We can spend a whole day taking them through our operations, going through our laboratories. They get to learn what we do. The other fold is we offer attachment facilities. Every quarter we have a new batch of people coming in, especially students coming in for attachments. We also attach from the other standards bodies within the region. And then we also offer educational work. For example, such a forum where KEBS comes to enlighten us about the role of Kenya Bureau of Standards, the functions of Kenya Bureau of Standards, and we also undertake elaborate trainings on quality and standardization as an institution. And the other one is maintenance and dissemination of international system of units of measurements, the SI units. If you want to know the most accurate microseconds, it is at Kenya Bureau of Standards. So we do not do commercial calibration. What that means is we will not go to the butcheries to calibrate the weighing scales. However, we will calibrate the equipment that weights and measures will use to calibrate the other ones. So we do industrial calibration, then weights and measures will do the commercial calibration. We calibrate the equipment and then they disseminate this to the marketplace. Our standardization services include development of standards, maintenance of measurement of standards, this is we do under metrology, then technical support for multilateral and bilateral trade agreements. By the way, did I tell you that the outgoing ISO president is a member of Kenya Bureau of Standards? The global head in the world of standardization in the world comes from Kenya Bureau of Standards. The outgoing communications person is from Kenya Bureau of Standards. And right now, Kenya Bureau of Standards was appointed to represent Africa at the ISO committees. I thought ningepata makofi jamani. So that is how serious we are. And then we have conformity assessment. the training that we've talked about, and then we have a library that we can access so that you get information on all of these. So these are the quality marks that KEBS has. The one that I'm pointing right now is the standardization mark of quality, which is the basic mark. It's mandatory. It is a requirement that all locally manufactured products should have this mark. The one below it is the diamond mark of quality. This is a superior mark of excellence in terms of the product quality. It is optional. It is not mandatory. However, when you have this mark, it is a more prestigious mark. The benefits outweigh the possible costs that you'd pay for it. We have the food fortification mark. This was a joint effort between Kenya Bureau of Standards and Ministry of Public Health, where foods, the commonly used food items in our houses, are fortified with minerals and vitamins just to try and curb malnutrition in the country. And the import standardization mark that is issued to all products that are imported from outside. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And you're able to verify the quality of a product by sending a short message to the number 20023. And then in the message box, you write SM or DM hashtag and then the number that will appear on the product below the mark. Thank you very much.
First, Chair, this question you must have thought about it so deeply. Do you think we are so psyched up and ready should any calamity of that magnitude kick in now?
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was posing this question, it's something that I wanted us really to think about. Business continuity is key for us and the stakeholders and the investors. There are things that may come to us as housekeepers that might be beyond our control. But giving an example with the COVID-19, we were and are all aware that hand washing is key, is normal and typical hygiene. But today, since the government lifted some COVID restrictions, you may find that in some institutions, it's hardly a month or just a month old, the hand wash stations are no longer working. They are non-functioning. Some have actually gone ahead to remove them. And some say that it is no longer necessary, not worth investing in. That shows to us that we are more reactionary than being proactive, which is very unfortunate. I still feel that we need to be prepared more for any other pandemic. We may not know what it is, but we can control the environment around us by ensuring that the environment is clean and free from bacteria. We can control the cleanness on the surfaces. We can control how we manage our hands and our mouth by proper training, because we know that that is the source of the largest number of infection. So these are things that we need to put in place, and we do not wait until a pandemic strikes is when we now react. There are things that we know as housekeepers we are supposed to do. That is what will help to ensure that we guarantee business continuity. Thank you.
Madam Margaret would like also to chime into this.
When COVID began, we had to spend a lot of money ensuring that we have sanitizers in place, water stations in place, and this didn't cost the company little money. It cost us a lot of money. So listening to and even observing what other institutions are probably doing, removing these items, then begs the business owner, to ask themselves, I mean, did we flush this money down the drain? Are we saying then there's no continuity thereafter? Is there no pandemic or any other thing? So how then can we ensure that this is sustainable, that whatever we invest in, we ensure that our teams understand the importance of having that facility put in place? Training and development is really key for us. And if our people don't understand that buying this product costs this amount of money, but will save your life, the life of the guest, and the life of everybody else around you, then there will be what's happening now. People plucking, wash stations and sanitizers out of their institutions, which is really not right, I think.
From a standardization point of view, how do you see ourselves sustaining the momentum once we begin our businesses, or it has attained a certain threshold, but we still want to ensure that we are not disrupted to an extent that we get to our knees, as it happened to quite a number of businesses?
Thank you very much. From a standardization point of view, I would first of all define a disruption as anything that will take us off the tangent that we were on. So then, are we ready to continue, not just COVID, not just a pandemic, but even a fire at our places of work? Are we able to continue when we lose our staff? I will take us back to a standard that we have. It's called the Business Continuity Management System. And this standard outlines what we need to do. As an organization, do we have a business continuity plan? The measures that we have put in place to ensure that we pick up after a disruption, are we sure they are working? Have we tested them? Have we verified that they are applicable and practicable, or are they things that we just have at the back of our minds? COVID taught us quite a bit, and I like the lady, the gentleman, the barber, who, when we were told you cannot go to the barbers to be shaved, he decided, well, this mountain cannot go to Mohammed, therefore Mohammed will move to the mountain. So he had a mobile barber van. What are we doing as us, as the housekeepers? Have we thought beyond the everyday operations that we do? So the business continuity plans that you have in place, from a standardization point of view, it's important that you test them and also ensure that you have contacts of key persons. What do I mean by this? For example, if the place was to come tumbling down, or we were to get an attack, God forbid, do you have the contact of the next available ambulance? Do we have the contact of the fire brigade? Do we have the contact of the nearest OCS to your place of operations? Do you know the officer or the medical officer in charge of the next available health facility? Thank you.
Wow. A million-fold questions that actually rendered even the moderator himself to start thinking, do I know? And yet this guy is probably my immediate next neighbor. Can you imagine? Yeah. Chair, just guide us here. Why this attitude of plucking, uprooting, making sure that even the shelves that do not have even, and I can see it even demonstrated here, that we do not have a sanitizer in front of us at the end of the day? Why? Why this attitude?
That is something that, as I go through, all of us need to think about it very objectively. Number one is the culture. That is something that we've always done. We love to be forced to do things, which is very unfortunate. And I said even to the trainer, the government needs to step it up, come in to force organizations that if you are not ISO, this number satisfied, you are not going to operate. And all of them are going to comply. So it is a culture that we have that we must actually run away from. That is what is causing such kind of sharp reactions when the government lifted the restrictions that we had. So we need to come up and say we must have what we call a culture change. To go with the culture change is our attitude. I had a very ugly incident in a hotel that I worked, where a guest who was in a washroom saw a waiter leave the washroom without washing their hands, and the next food that the guest was going to receive is being offered by that waiter. The guy hit the roof. How? I've seen you leave the washroom without washing your hand. Then you come and offer me food. No! It was an ugly incident within a very short time. Now, why would one have such an attitude that, after all, my hands are not dirty, so let me go, I'm in a hurry, let me go and just offer the service, without forgetting that a very simple mistake can cause a ripple effect, a ripple action, and which can end up being very devastating. So our attitude, when we are trained on the basics as hand washing, is very, very important. In our operations, in our areas of operation. The other thing is because we love shortcuts. And we work with the teams that you train and you certify. But now, because of cost implications that we've talked about, you realize that instead of having this number of room attendants, you reduce. You're being told reduce, reduce, reduce. And when you reduce it, then the room attendants end up getting 22 rooms. I am telling you, those of us who witness CNN, investigative journalists, with the fluorescent spray, and when they left, they call it nyorosha, for example, when making the bed. Then they will go to shortcuts and nyorosha. Now, the bed sheet that was used, instead of changing because of time, maybe there's a delay from the laundry, this person is glad to say that wacha ni nyoroshe, bora room nimeoperate, it is done. Without really thinking that the guest who is coming to use this, and we know that we have some resistant infectious diseases, that even the highest temperatures, you have to be very careful to take care of them. So you expose a guest, and when you expose that guest, remember we are talking about business continuity. Itching of the skin alone will make the guest say that your bedsheets are not clean. An infection that has occurred because of a dirty toilet will make the guest to have a lot of complaint, and even spread the gospel negatively against the organization. So shortcuts is another thing that is really causing this. The other problem we have is now us ourselves, the discipline. To be very honest, we lack discipline. Until a security, I was just handling a case where in the hostel we say that we are not going to remove the mask as you come in. And you see the security now is telling me this guy is abusing me because I've said you must go back to the car and get your what? Your mask. You know, we are not disciplined. That is another thing. So the self-discipline is very key for us really to say that this is something I'm supposed to do.
Just an aspect of the change of attitude.
Thank you. What I can add is what the chair said, especially about us liking to be forced. I'll give a scenario of a few years back when President Kibaki, the then president, retired, made it mandatory that public institutions should be ISO certified QMS. I can bet you we were very busy. But the moment he retired, and that was removed from the performance contracting for government organizations, the numbers dwindled. But just to work on the culture of the people and the attitude. Again, I will drive us back to standardization. We have an ISO standard, ISO 30401 on knowledge management systems. It tackles the entire process of managing this knowledge and even changing the culture of our people to ensure that that which we want to be implemented or for our organization to be synonymous with is implemented. And definitely when a culture changes, hopefully the attitude will change. Thank you.
Great. Margaret, please tell us, housekeepers are more or less could I call them like the frontline workers? You remember the term became quite popular at the height of COVID. Now that COVID is more or less subsiding, still, what kind of risks are we exposed to? Are we still exposed to as housekeepers?
In as much as, for example, COVID is not spoken about this much, cases are still on the rise, and it's important for us to make sure that we take care of our team. So as housekeepers, one of the most critical things that is key for us is to ensure that our team members understand that such incidences are still there, and therefore we need to protect them. And how do we do that? We talked about knowledge, impacting knowledge to them, and also providing them with safety, equipment. The PPEs still have to be worn. As is clearly said, people have, if you look at us, I think one of the protocols that was stated is, in as much as we have made it not mandatory to wear masks in public areas, in gatherings like this, we should wear masks. But clearly, none of us is wearing a mask. Clearly, we're not wearing a mask, isn't it? So that means then we, as the heads of housekeepers or the departments, have then to ensure that we set an example, right? Once we set that example, we then ensure that our teams then follow those rules and regulations. In terms of using the right equipment, the right chemicals, the right detergents, in whatever way, ensuring that linen is changed more frequently, or coming up with a system of when to do this cleaning. He's talked about inspecting as you're going around the facility on a frequent occasion. You could have probably in your facility, say, if a guest is checking in for 2 days, then request if we should have the room cleaned during the 2 days. If not, give the guest everything they require for the 2 days. Don't get into the room at all. They're safe, right? And when they leave, then how then do we clean that room? There should be a standard of cleaning that room, so that then my team is well taken care of. They're not getting any infections. They're not forwarding infections to the other team members or taking that infection back home. Remember, we all have families, right? So if you're not taking care of yourself in your space, where you're meeting a lot of people from all walks of life, then you can also take that disease home. So it's very critical for us to be able to. So it starts really from us, the leaders.
Great. It indeed starts from us, who are the professionals and the leaders within the industry. At this juncture, I would like to invite any questions. I'm being beckoned that time is really running. From the audience to our panel. Yes, please. Roving mic, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please proceed. Yeah. Living by example.
Because at the moment, if I go to Kariobangi South Light Industry, I will get your cabs. If I go to the estate, they're producing water and it has a cave seal. And you know how Kenyans are. This one is 10 shillings and the recommended one is 15 shillings. Where will I go to for the 10 shillings? So why is it you're allowing your sticker to be misused in that way?
Thank you for that question. I have to admit that yes, you will get a bonoko. You will get a bonoko KEBS sticker. But KEBS has gone a step further to ensure that you as the consumer, you can verify the validity of that mark. How do we do this? We have a program called the Wajibika na KEBS, where you're able to confirm. First, you can confirm by sending an SMS. I will explain that. The other aspect the other form which you can use to confirm the validity of a mark is by downloading a KEBS app. We have a KEBS app that's available for Androids and iOSs. So you can download this app, key in each product that has the mark. Below the KEBS mark, there should be a number. If it is a standardization mark, it will be SM hashtag and then a number. Key in that number after you have downloaded the app. It will give you details of the product, the manufacturer, and whether that mark is valid or not. Then what do you do as a consumer? Confirm. Are they tallying? Are these details tallying? If not, then you can reach us on a toll-free number that's operational from 8 to 5:30, 1545. Just give us the alert. Other than using the KEBS app, you can also use an SMS system. We have an SMS platform that is live and is linked to our database. So you go to your phone, construct a new message. At the message body, key in the SM or DM hashtag and the number. Send this SMS to the number 20023. You will get a real-time response on the validity of this mark and also the details, including the brand name, the manufacturer of this particular product. Verify that the two are tallying. Thank you.
I want you, Chair, to shed light more of making housekeepers to be facilities manager, because we do cut across all aspects of our operations, like whatever you talked about. That's not the head of operations, that's a facility manager, because you are touching every corner, and it's happening to all our housekeepers who are here. You are asked about kitchen, about garden, about where, and you in title they are saying you are housekeeper, but you are not.
The principle that we should have is that if the ceiling is closed, there's the window and there's the door. But if you are willing to grow, you will be ready to take a risk and to step out there and say, I am going to do it. I remember when I shared with many people that I'm going to head the operations in a hospital, they were asking, how? Will you manage? I say, I will. What will stop me from managing? I will. And it is also your self-encouragement, determination, focus. That is very, very key. So, Naftali, I am praying that all the housekeepers that are here will rise to become general managers, facility managers, directors, name it, in their companies. And this is something that is doable and it is possible. It all depends on you.
On a lighter note, Nancy, China has made Kenya a dump site. You go here, they tell you, hii ni 50 bob na hii ni 150, and you allow them to, when things coming, do you have a say over them in terms of export and import?
When I go to China and I'm told this is 100 bob and this is 10 bob, And then I opt for the one for 10 bob, and I come sell it at the cost of 100 bob. Am I being genuine? What character am I? Now back to the regulator point of view. Kenya Bureau of Standards has agents that undertakes import inspection. This we do under our program that we call the Pre-Shipment Verification of Conformity, where we have agents globally who ensure that the products that are being brought into the country meet the basic standard requirements. Did I say basic? Yes, they meet the basic standard requirements. On knowing whether what I'm buying is a fake or an original, the law mandates Kenya Bureau of Standards to ensure that the products are of quality. However, on determination of a counterfeit, which would be the fake product, we have an agency that is called the Anti-Counterfeit Agency. However, we do work together. Back to ourselves. First, we need to have our own culture, and I'd encourage you that even the products that you're purchasing, when you see that they have the KEBS mark, which would be a Bonoko one if it is a substandard product, verify the mark. Download the app, send the SMS, verify the validity of that permit, of that mark on that product before you commit your hard-earned money.
Allow me to add something. Ladies and gentlemen, members, KEBS, if we take it serious and we know that what they are doing is important, then we will actually get value out of KEBS. There is nothing that KEBS doesn't have. Call it this. Sometimes I just search and say, let me look at what KEBS is saying about this. All these ISO certification numbers is talking about. Sometimes I just go through, then I say, let me compare this. What about outside there? What are the standards? What do they commend? Or what do they say about this? It also widens your understanding on certain things, but also make you also be up to date.
So as Havana Laundromat, as I said, we are poised to be an industry leader. We're looking at more than just Kenya, we're looking at East Africa. We want to incorporate the best practices in the laundromat business. So we are prepared, as I was saying earlier, we are prepared to partner with other potential business owners who are interested in this business to invest in. It's a viable and it's a proven business model. We're in partnership with Hotpoint Appliances Limited, who themselves have also set up a laundromat as a proof of concept. They have 2 laundromats at Buruburu Point Mall, and they've got a second laundromat at TRM Center. So if you have a chance, please go visit those laundromats and see there's a proof of concept in starting as a laundromat business, right? We have, as I was saying, our flagship store and experience center, which is now operational. We are a Chaka place. The way we set up the center is to allow people to come in and to see the business in operation. We want to teach you about the business. We want to show you the machines. We're pushing the LG commercial machines. We want to show you the processes. We want to show you what we will do as we walk hand in hand. We want to train you in how to run the machines. In detergents, we have partnered very well with Soilex, ProSolve. Our stand is right, the first one at the corner there, so you can come and visit us. But we've partnered, our partnership is there to enable business owners to come, to be able to work with us, so that we overcome the barriers to business. Some of the barriers to business are, number one is capital, and secondly is expertise. We want to walk with you through that journey so you don't struggle in starting that business. With Havana Laundromat, in partnership with Hotpoint and LG and with Soilex, we are there to support you in your need to start your laundromat business. We have opened a Chaka place once again. Please, if you can, come over and visit. We will take you through, we will talk to you, we will guide you. We say that you can be in business by yourself, for yourself, but don't be in business by yourself. Okay? So once again, I'm Natasha Nje from Havana Laundromat, where we say the freedom, giving you freedom from laundry. Thank you.
So we want to discuss outsourcing, and outsourcing has been discussed for many years. But for many of us, we don't outsource, we abdicate, isn't it? See, that's what we do with our matatus. We don't outsource, we abdicate. So you tell the guys, mkikuja jioni, mkuja na 2,000. What you do in between, it's none of my business. Just bring me my 2,000 shillings. You can bribe who you want to bribe. You can carry people at whatever price. But me, I want my 2K. So I'll start off with Antipas, Chairman. I'll start off with you. Are you currently outsourcing any of your services?
I have the cleaning services I've outsourced. I have a crew of up to 350 being provided by outsourced company. I've outsourced transport, partly transport services. Partly I've also outsourced the food delivery, the services to our COVID center. I've outsourced gardening and landscaping. I've outsourced fumigation services. I've outsourced security services.
So who do you have on your staff? Because you seem to have outsourced everything.
I have
Yourself and a PA.
No, myself.
A PA and a driver.
I have a support services manager and 3 housekeepers. I have the security manager and 7 officers. I have the catering team, 109. I have the riders and the drivers, 47. I have, that is what I have.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. I think what that has done is tell us that outsourcing is then big business. Because if he's got 350 people, almost 400 in total really, that have been outsourced, as opposed to 200 who are on payroll directly. So I think we've got a good setting here. So Lydia, do you feel like companies out there are as willing as the Nairobi Hospital to outsource what is not core business to them?
I'm actually 3 months old in what I'm doing. I had decided I don't want anything to do with the hotel anymore. Any hospitality, I didn't want to do it. But right now, it's like I had a dream. And I said, why should I look for employment anymore? I can do the little that I know and live happily at my own time. I'm in a county, maybe it's not known by many, but it's coming up. I'm in Meru County, and I'm consulting. I'm building a resort, I'm managing a resort that is coming up. It's on the preliminary stages, and it's going to be a showstopper for Meru, the area I come from. So I feel that I took a leave from all the stresses, but I'm coming at my own time. Antipas, give me a job. Thank you.
So home is best.
Home is best. I'm home.
Okay.
I'm building my other houses, something like that, so that I live from the comfort of my home.
So as you prepare for this resort, are you looking to bring all staff on board, or are you feeling that you might be able to outsource some of the activities?
Both.
Which are you looking to outsource?
Because this is now in the county, and we talk of CSR, where you have to involve the young boys and girls who are graduates. They don't have jobs. They are doing odd jobs. And if you ask them for a certificate, he brings you a graduate from a certain university, but he doesn't have a job. He's doing a job of 500 shillings a day.
Have you seen more outsourcing opportunities coming up, especially with the COVID outbreak period?
Yes, companies are coming to, appreciate outsourcing as part of their, trying to reduce costs. There's something that I wrote here that says outsourcing cannot be considered just a trend. It's the way wise companies do business. This is because of so many advantages that come with it. And you find that most of the companies actually, we are a new company that is really fast growing, and we get quite a number of calls for site visits, for post-construction cleaning, for outsourcing, rooms, making of rooms, apartments, and public areas. Without even mentioning also the other, other departments like the kitchen, stewarding, the front office. Actually companies are, looking for, these cleaning services or even partners out there to outsource. Thank you.
Just to pick on something you've said is many of them are outsourcing because as a means to cut costs. Do you think that should be the right reason why you outsource?
That is one. There are many reasons. There are quite a number of reasons. One of them is, like the way I mentioned, cutting of costs. And of course, when you get these companies, when you call us to come in, especially we specialize in housekeeping, we come in, you reduce your cost on payroll. We come in and we train these staff who come in, who come to clean. We also we actually train them on your brand standards so that when they come in, your work will continue as usual. We do not want to bring a culture out there that will disorient your work or make you feel like you're no longer in control of your, operations.
Faith, do you carry out any outsourcing work for any institutions?
Quite a number. Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you also feel that the main reason they give you work is because they want to cut costs on their end and reduce the management overhead?
Well, that is one of the reasons why they go for outsourcing. I would want to answer that because I don't only clean for hotels, I also clean for schools. I also clean for other companies. And maybe let me come to schools. Most of the people who are working in schools, they're not housekeepers. So you find them just getting people from all over and employing them so that they can come and clean. There's a saying that we keep on saying that, when someone is looking for a job, they keep on saying, natafuta kazi hata kama ni ya kifagio. You see, and that's what they think about us. So the people that you find there cleaning, they're not housekeepers, they have not been trained, they have no idea. The only thing that happened is that a teacher got them, employed them, and told them, the use of ifagio, just go and clean. So they have no idea of what they're doing. So by the time that they're realizing that they have a service, they are realizing they have an institution, they are realizing they have invested in huge, precious services, maybe floors that are tiled, carpeted floors, they don't know what to do with them. And with time, I think we evolve, we're evolving and people are appreciating that some of these things are supposed to be done by specialists, so that they can be able to concentrate on their duties. So now they're being able, most of the institutions are now appreciating that they can't clean. I mean, they need housekeepers to come and help them sustain or maintain their services. So leave alone the bottom line, which is finance, which is cost. Now they're also realizing that we need to maintain our services. We need to hire people like us, the housekeepers, so that they can come and train us on how to simply maintain our services. So there's a lot of that. And also the fact that they, even though they would want to train their cleaners, they have no idea on how to train them on. So they would want to outsource a company that has a housekeeper, or housekeepers as we are, who are not just businessmen, housekeepers who know what they do, who have been trained, they've been in school, and what they've been trained is on how to clean. So apart from the cost, they're looking at people who are specialized in cleaning. They're also looking for people who can be able to bring standards, the kind of standard they're looking for. And there are very many, of course, the recruitment process and the interviews, all that. They have no idea on how to interview cleaners. So they would want people who have been there to come and interview them in the right manner.
So in your opinion, what you believe they're doing is more looking to concentrate on their core business?
Yes, 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 yes.
And leave services that are not core to them?
Yes.
And outsource them to people who it is core to?
Exactly.
Antipas, is that the reason why you outsourced?
The bottom line is key in every organization. Of course, the core business is something that each and every one of us would want to give priority. But there are other additional factors, as both my colleagues have rightfully said. Number one, of course, is the cost. You're trying to transfer several costs to them, and by doing that, you're saving. And you will find that you are comfortably operating with a good engagement and an SLA that you have signed. So cost is key, and that is one factor, among other things.
Antipas, you've just opened a can of worms, eh? So I'm going to act devil's advocate. If you outsourced because of the cost, how do you expect the person you've outsourced to give you the same level of service for less?
It will depend on them. It will depend on them. That is why I have to raise the bar. And now we have to maintain it that. Of course, it is not for less. What we are saying here is that you present, that's why it is competitive. You present to me, there are a lot of tender evaluations that we go through and tendering process and that we go through. But now, when we have put it out there, like now I'm just going to do the gym management, outsource the gym management services.
Mmesikia, kuna kazi?
Yes, kuna kazi. Now, that is, of course, going to be an EOI. When I do that, I expect you to give me your offer. We will give a room for negotiations. And, of course, I will have to go with the lowest. But the shock and the surprises that we've also gone through when we are doing due diligence is also a real shocker. We have companies. I have a company that we went to visit. That is when I'm seeing equipment put there. So being who I am, I say, give me that. Then I want to test it. I'm told, oh, they are through the service process. We are doing maintenance and all that. Then I said, if all these machines and equipment you have here are really being serviced, then what will I have? What will I use? Will I get quality service? So during that process, the company has an opportunity to tell me that if you pay me this, I am going to give you quality service. How they are going to do it will not compromise my standards. That is the bottom line.
Okay, thank you. Grace, your core business is outsource because you don't have permanent customers. They are the ones who outsource to you. How do you find the interaction with such customers?
Yes, we do. We actually serve both individual clients and also hotels. Let me base first on hotels or the corporate clients. So in the recent past, we've seen actually a number of them approaching us, and actually them approaching us to offer the services to them. And agreeing with what my colleagues have said, one is on cost cutting, but then the fundamental thing is on quality. Being a core business and being experts in whatever we do, then it gives us an added advantage because we spend from morning to evening. That's what we do. So then we specialize in it. So then there's that trust that we've gained from clients. So one of it is trust. Clients have trusted us because of our quality and what we offer outside there. And the other thing is efficiency. And that's why I mentioned the 2 hours express at no extra cost. So we are able to, a client can actually walk in, bring their cart and do shopping as they wait for it. So then they can go back with their item. So then that brings efficiency. You see that speed of doing things. Someone would want, an example is, we also serve politicians. So a good example is someone having, what will I call? So especially at this point yenye kuna politics nyingi and so many campaigns. So then you have a group that is coming visiting you and they need their curtains cleaned today and returned today. You can actually go, remove them from the windows, clean and return them the same day. So then efficiency, quality, and again, cost saving. Yes. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yes. So what you're really telling us is, because it's your core business, you can deliver more efficiently and more cost effectively than if the client tried to bring the service in-house.
Absolutely. Actually, I'll give you an example. There's a time a client called us and they had actually cleaned their duvet, but then it became hard for them to clean. So then we went and picked that wet duvet, carried it on a van and cleaned it, dried it and returned it the same day. So yes, I agree.
Okay. So critically then what we're saying is the whole benefit of outsourcing is that you will get a better quality of service for less, because the person you're outsourcing to does that as their core business.
Exactly. I can add something.
Yes.
You're also able to convert actually your fixed cost to variable cost. So you can determine what cost do I cut, what do I not cut. You then consolidate all your costs from the salary, the payroll and everything into one, just being the dry cleaner or the laundry or whatever company you're outsourcing, whatever service you're outsourcing to that particular cost.
In accounting, we say you move a capex to an opex.
Exactly. No,
Yes.
that's the point.
Yes. Pia mimi nilisoma. Okay. And I know it's a critical word. The minute you go and see a finance person and just tell them what I'm doing is I'm helping you to convert your capex to an opex, the discussion is over. Yes, you don't have to say anything else to them. They don't want to know your chemicals. They don't want to know anything. You've saved him. One is an expense. The other one is a capital item. Okay. I'll open up to the floor for anyone who might have any questions for the panelists.
Do you have that one thing, capturing the details? Because the times I have operated with outsourced services, the big mistake people do is overpromising. You don't capture the real detail, and the client, like for my case, I'll say the client have a watchdog. You think you charge less to get the job, the client will give you the job. But the client has placed a watchdog who will not let you deviate from the standard, even if you charged half the cost. Like chairman was putting it. We have agreed that the details are written down. This is what I'm expecting from you. What are you charging me? X. It was supposed to be charged 2X. You charge X. Thank you. Get the job. Then on the ground, the company or the organization that is outsourcing your service has a watchdog. Allow me to use that word, because now chairman in that case is a watchdog. I'm also one. So I'm pushing you, even having charged half the price, to the corner to meet the standard. How are you covering yourself against that?
Thank you, Naftali. I think most of the time we actually shoot ourselves in the foot because of quoting, trying to be very competitive and trying to be the lowest bidder, because that's what the client wants. And if you quote the way it's supposed to be, then you won't get it. So we try to be the lowest bidders. At the same time, this client needs quality. In fact, the client will tell you, I need you to use this chemical from this company. Then you're like, okay. In fact, whatever I've just quoted will be enough for the chemicals, nothing else. So so this is to our, what do you call, our the businesses and our clients. Please do not go for the lowest bidder every time. And especially now that we are here, we know we've been part of you, and we know what is good and what is bad and what is bad for our standards. So try to see what this company does. The staff. Where are they getting the staff? Are we calling people from the domestic workers to come and do cleaning because they can do? Or we are getting people who are rendered redundant to come and clean? And at that particular time, you're also thinking that these people were earning good money in the hotels. They were getting service charge. So when you call them to come and do the cleaning, how are you going to pay them? So that is to you people. Please do not go for the lowest bidders all the time. Just go for the best. Yes, thank you.
I don't know. Yeah, this is what we call a site visit. So every time that you call a company or when you call us to come in and do a quotation, this is what we call a site visit. And that site visit allows us to know the scope. It allows us to know the kind of work that you want us to do. So the moment we come back with a quotation. And it's for you now. By the time I'm giving a quotation, I have factored everything. I've factored my labor, I've factored transport, I've factored the cleaning equipment and the training that I've done to my staff. So there's an expectation that you as a client, you'll be able to look at that from your experience. From experience as a housekeeper, be able to look at that and see whether what I've quoted is doable or not doable. Unfortunately, most of the people will look at that and not think about it because they're definitely also working on their bottom line, which is finances. So personally, what I do, many times there's some of the contracts I will not take because apparently I will not want to come to you and give you substandards and you don't give me a referral. Because the moment I give you services that are not good, unfortunately, you're going to tell another person and tell them that I don't give good services, not considering that you're paying me peanuts. So the thing is, we are housekeepers. Personally, the reason why I started a cleaning company is because I had outsourced a lot. And the people that I was outsourcing from were merely business people. The people who are outside there, most people who have companies are not housekeepers. They're businessmen. They have no idea what cleaning is all about. So what they do is that they'll give you a quotation. The quotation is low. At times, I find myself quoting maybe something like in square feet, cleaning of a carpet. Somebody will quote half or quarter of what I quoted. And I'll see a client giving them to go and clean. But the kind of detergent they use? Others will even go with Omo. Us as housekeepers, have you ever seen Omo cleaning a carpet? So imagine those are the kind of people that you're giving your carpets, your very expensive services to clean. So the thing is, every time that you look at us as we give you a quotation, kindly consider, don't always go to the lowest bidder. Because what you should look for is quality. Go for quality, and even as much as you're also looking into the cost. Thank you.
Okay. It's interesting because I believe if the person who is outsourcing to you is a housekeeper, like the chairman, then you're most likely in a better position because he would also know what he's looking for. But in the event that you're dealing with the accountant or the office manager, how do you go through that process of trying to explain to them? Really, if you look at the bottom line, all you're going to get is somebody who passes by some bus stop somewhere in the morning, picks up 5 people, and comes and drops them in your business. Is there anything you're doing to make sure you can actually sensitize the end consumer to understand that there's a big difference between somebody to just clean your office and a housekeeper?
Of course, when I come to you, you're the client, I'm the provider, and you're not a housekeeper. So definitely what I'll do is that I'll pitch. In my pitching, I am going to explain what I'm supposed to come and do for your service. For example, you want me to come and clean maybe kitchen. It's a chef, and chefs are not housekeepers. So they have a very dirty kitchen. Most chefs have very dirty kitchens. Sorry if there's a chef here. And it's normal. Even in the hotels, there's always a fight, between a chef and housekeeper because, the kitchen is dirty. They don't want it clean. There's always that. So I'll come and I'll explain. I'm actually going to give you into details of what I'm going to do. So many people are willing to actually pay for the quality. Most people are willing to pay for quality. So the moment you make them understand that when I come to you, this is basically what I'll do, most people are willing to pay for the quality. So the other thing that you'll also make them understand is that if they don't go for you and they go for a cheaper person, this is also what will happen, because they're going to have their services cleaned once, twice, and most likely by people who are using a lot of acidic detergents. You explain the pro and the con of having you. So I think that also makes them understand why it is important for them to hire you in. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I can add something.
Yeah.
This is to the housekeepers. Remember, this is your department. Yes, there is the purchasing, we have the accountant. The accountant looks at the bottom line, looks at what you've quoted. They do not consider whatever you sell yourself and say about the chemicals, say about what the equipment that you're using. This is to the housekeepers. This is your department. At the end of the day, the lowest bidder will be taken, and you will be the one to answer questions. Why this and this is not being done well or whatever. So please stand for your department, and I'm not saying you look for the highest bidder, but look for somebody who knows what they are doing so that it makes your work easier. Remember, after the purchasing manager is done, after the accountant is done, they go and relax in the offices, you are the one to run around. Thank you.
Sorry, I was too hard on that.
Yeah.
I've once been a housekeeper, like I said earlier, and I've heard stories of housekeepers whereby you're told, go to the guest rooms and pick the leftover soaps, go and put them in a big sufuria and boil them, and they become a soap to clean the toilets. Even the entire area. So you're told, why are your budget so high? You're not a new housekeeper here. A financial controller tells you, you're older than me. And your housekeeper here is a very young person. He shouldn't tell you what you should do. Just boil the soap and you save. Fill up the guest shampoos, the leftover small quarter shower. Fill it up and give to another guest. Guys, these providers are not housekeepers. I've had an incident whereby there was a fighting between, should I use Kimfe product, should I use Kleenex, or should I use from a light company from Kariobangi, which is, KBL this year, but maybe that was before, a light industry. And the shampoo, the shower gel is brought in a 20-liter jerry can. You taste it, it burns you. You wash your hands, they become white. You have to use some lotion. So do I expect a guest paying 20,000, 30,000 to use such? No. Please, housekeepers, don't allow that. We'd rather all be jobless and run companies.
Thank you very much. I think what I would say is there seems to be an opportunity here also for many of you. I think it's what he called becoming you called it a watchdog. Just 1 second. You can become the watchdogs, because I'll tell you, when you look at it, sometimes maybe the problem is you're having to pitch. Instead of the organization itself giving you a checklist or what we call a tender document, where they already know what the requirements are. They are saying, I want you to have 3 scrubbers, I want you to have 4 workers with the following qualifications. Then for you, it's easier. Then also for them, the bottom line makes sense. I believe what we are lacking is what we call the consultant, who sits between the non-housekeeper organization manager and the person who is going to be outsourced to sit in between and can speak both languages. So you might want to look at that, because I think if that's done, it's how it's been sorted out in other industries. And that will help, I think, a lot in making sure you don't get sent to boil soap.
I think something else that is important is the referees. Always ask for referees, the companies they are cleaning for, or the companies that have outsourced them.
Okay.
They also help a lot.
I wanted just to add one thing. Those of us who you move from a company where everything is in-house, and you go to a company where almost everything is outsourced. It is a shift, and that is what I experienced. What I would kindly request, do not let the procurement be the ones to do for you the tender document. Look at it. That is where the buck stops. If it is rightfully done, then you will have all the things that you require being done, and you'll achieve what you actually desire from the company that will be your service provider. But if the tender document is done haphazardly by a person who is not even aware about cleaning or the scope of work, then they put whatever they want, so long as they clear it out of their table. So go through that document, make sure you're involved. And I always say when we meet, that housekeepers, do not be timid, do not be intimidated. It is you at the end of the day who will be asked many questions. So stand tall and say, this is what I require, nothing short of this.
Thank you very much. I hope it's a comment, Naftali.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what I was saying, Margaret and my other colleagues, don't depend on what the word of the housekeeper. Kindly depend on the details of the document you have agreed with the company. Because I'm the housekeeper, I understand the strain you'll go through. But remember the position I'm standing to that organization. I'm not in the negotiation of the price. You said how much you want us to pay you. You came, you visited our space, you saw the kind of floors we have, how many buildings do we have, you charged. Now, I was told now, Margaret and the company are doing this for you. So, Margaret will deploy your staff there, but I'm the last eye for the company. So, even I being the housekeeper, I'll maintain the standard through you. So, I'll not be in the negotiation of the price. The negotiation of the price you agreed with the procurement and accounting. So me, I'm on you. I want the standards. Yeah. Well knowing you are suffering because I'm a housekeeper. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. You have a comment? Okay, here we can have one last comment.
Good evening. Yes. My name's Margaret Msita from All Saints Cathedral Church, and this issue of outsourcing, I think I'm happy with it. That is what we are doing, especially in the cleaning. We have outsourced cleaning. And if you allow me, I'll just tell you what we went through during COVID, wanting to cut on costs. So the management thought, why can't we have our people clean? Then we released these outsourced services. So I was tasked to give a budget, what we require for cleaning and all that. I did that. So we released the outsourced services, and we started cleaning ourselves. The first challenge I had was with the accounts office and the procurement, because you have assessed and you know this is what will require, the material, the equipment and all that. So I went there, they cut the budget half. So I'm like, this will not be enough. You are told we are cutting cost, and here now you have to ensure that this place, it is to the standard. So I have to work with that. And then you are working with the people who are not trained specifically for that. So we did it 2-3 weeks. Everyone is complaining, this place is dirty and all that. So what do we need? We need to do some training for these internal people. What I'm saying is we went up spending a lot. I think more than, 3 times what we would have paid the outsourced company. So I think outsourcing is good enough. And also as housekeepers, we are challenged because we also need to understand these dynamics and also have knowledge, have an understanding of all these products and that. Because by the time now when you want to engage the outsourced company, you also need to be at that negotiating table, because you are the person who understands. So even if this company will quote what the accountants will say, we'll go by this, you will be able to say this will not work, because back at your mind you will know they will not deliver to the standard that you require. So like all of our panelists say, go for quality, and it will save you a lot. Even if you will pay a little bit higher, you will get quality. What at All Saints, I've heard many people say they like All Saints. Why? Because if you go to the washrooms, they are clean. People even stop, just come, because they are passing, but they want to use the washrooms. I can tell you, when we were doing it ourselves, it was chaos. So outsourcing, it's the best way to go. But have an understanding of what you are outsourcing for. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mary. I work for the NMS. I've had an experience of the contract cleaning for 2 years, and my concern is the high turnover of the staffs that are employed. And I wonder, are they lowly paid, or what is the problem?
Who wants to dare to take that question? Good. No,
But I've noticed there is some concern. I don't know how you handle your human resource, because you find the team who are outsourced are kind of aloof. Their welfare, I may say, is not taken care of from my experience. How do you deal with that? Thank you.
So that's high turnover and how you're dealing with legal issues.
Last one.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela. I'm a co-founder from Maisuja Cleaning Services, and I would say it's more of a startup, or rather a small business growing, because we're less than 5 years. And my question is very simple, because I feel like we've gone into the depths, which is really good, but when you are beginning, especially for the service providers, when you are beginning your cleaning companies, how were you handling the marketing bit? Because personally, I really depend on word of mouth. I think the second thing I'll tell you after my name is what I do, everything, and social media, because I'm really good at it, at digital marketing. But I'm wondering, how else do you do marketing so that you can also expand? Thank you.
Yeah, let me start with high turnover. I think somebody asked about high turnover of staff. What happens normally is clients, okay, you do the bidding after of course the pitching, you do the bidding, and you write 30 days mobilization period, but the client does not honor that. They wait till 1 week to when you're supposed to start, is when they tell you, next week, please start. We have given you the contract. How do you do training? How do you do, all those things that you need to do before you deploy? So mostly that comes because we run around. We are not saying this happens everywhere. It's because of the short period that you're given, you run around looking for staff. So you get staff here, and then you take them. So, remember this, so long as they have the certificate of good conduct, they have, they have the papers, they start working. So that really contributes to high turnover. Another one is court cases. You asked about the court cases, that if we we decide to or there is low occupancies, and the company says, okay, fine, you need to reduce the people. How we deal with that is, during the signing of the contract, you have to be flexible, especially in the hotels. You cannot say this contract will run for 2 hours and I have to provide 50 people for the 2 years. You understand the company. You understand the industry the way it is. Sometimes it's high season, sometimes it's low season. So the same way that you draft the contract is the same way that you draft the contract with your staff. So they know from the beginning that if occupancies go low, we might be told to relax a bit. You're not telling them to go. You are just telling them to break. So that is how you can be able to, help also the industry. Because if you say 2 years and you have to pay us whether you have occupancies or not, then also you're not being helpful to the industry. Outsourced staff are a bit aloof. This normally happens. Of course, again, remember, the staff in the hotel, they're paid the salaries and they are given service charge. In the outsourced company, they do not have the service charge, especially the service charge. Paying them, it depends on each company. But our company, we really try to pay the staff well. Because if you don't pay them well, they will start showing by being aloof. And also, we plead to the business, the clients. If you actually treat them to be not part of you, that is how they start showing, they start becoming a bit not really motivated. They know, as we are just a cleaning service company, we are an outsourced company, but if you take them, if you have trainings, train them together. If you have any celebration, celebrate with them. If you have any recommendations, you also choose one who has done well. You recommend them to be the employee of the month. If there is food that is supposed to be shared, share with them. So deal with them the way you deal with your staff. That is how they can be able to be motivated. I will leave the other one out to do the last question.
I'd want to start with the staff turnover. I think different companies are run differently, because for us what we've done is that I do a lot of training. I personally love training. And we do a lot of post-construction cleaning or one-offs. So what we do is that we get people and train them. And when we have one-offs, those are the people that we use as casuals. So after training, we deploy our staff to different clients. For example, where I'm cleaning a school, I would train our staff and deploy them there for some sort of attachment. The idea is for them to learn the client and also to learn how this is done. So they're there waiting for a chance, for an opportunity to come, just in case we get somebody who's looking for an outsourced company. So that helps them to know us as a culture, because every company has a culture. And we introduce them to our culture. Every time that we have what we call one-offs, we go with them. And at times we have maybe one-off a whole week. So we are going with them and they know us. So they know how we do our things. When the one-offs are supposed to, for example, is supposed to report at 7, they're there. So when we get a job, those are the people that I'll give you. I'll give people that I know. I'll give people that I've trained. And that, I think, helps with the turnover, because I get sustained staff for a long time. Actually, the only turnover that I get is with, for example, there's a hotel that I'm cleaning for already. What I call turnover is when the HR is taking my staff. Yes. Because she doesn't want to train. And we get those battles of, why are you taking my staff? So that is what I'll call a turnover. By the time I'm realizing, of course they pay better. A cleaning company, many times, we find, because when you're a hotel is different from a cleaning company. I've been in a hotel, I've been an executive housekeeper, and now I run a cleaning company. So I know the difference. Because in the hotel, of course, there's the years where you've worked and there's an increase of salary. The employment is permanent. There's always that. But for a cleaning company, we employ as per the contract. So if you give me a contract for 1 year, by the time I'm employing my staff, it's detailed. You're coming here to work for this contract, and this contract is 1 year. So there's a possibility, if the hotel would want to employ somebody, they'll employ that one because the employment is permanent. Rest, and they know they have given me 1 year contract, So that happens. That is what we call turnovers. For us, that is what we experience as turnovers. So maybe to go back to the legal. I didn't understand what what you said when you're talking about that you cannot employ someone on 1 year contract. You can, that is allowed by the law. Because I have read the law. You know, by the time you're...
It is more a casual.
Yes, that is a casual. And you're allowed to employ them even 3 months. So you only need to sit down with the person that you're employing. And you just need to tell them this particular contract is 6 months. So I'll be with you for 6 months. So they know our engagement terms are clear. So by the time they're coming to work for you, we have clear engagement terms. When I was in the hotel, I employed permanently because that was a policy. And policies are different. So the policies we have in the hotel are slightly different from the policies that we have in cleaning companies.
Okay, thank you very much. But maybe what you could do with that is start adding it to your contracts. If they take any of your staff members, then there should be a clause where they pay you. Yes, because basically what they're doing is they're turning you into a cheap recruitment agency. So you bring the person for 3 months interview, then the ones who pass, they take, then they send you to go and look for more. But don't worry, we've got all kinds of nuances in business. So thank you very much to my panel. Please give them a round of applause. And I'll hand back to Humphrey. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. So mine is to give a vote of thanks. As a housekeeper, one thing I have to pass to the world is that housekeeping is the backbone of all sustainability of life. So if you are a housekeeper, you need to clap for yourself. So please do. So my vote of thanks goes to all the organizers of the East African Clean Expo 2022 for seeing this session start. And as I'm putting it as a vote of thanks, it is also a statement on behalf of all HHPA members that we invite everyone around the world, because now we are digital. You can still be joining us also via Facebook or Twitter. You can tweet just to support every housekeeper around the world. So my vote of thanks again, just like I've stated, is on behalf of HHPA members, welcoming everyone since the session has just begun, and it will be until the 8th of April. Thank you so much for a great start that it has been today. We have actually seen that we can always stand with HHPA as a platform to be a voice of all the rest of housekeepers. So thank you so much for all the people who are participating in this expo, and thank you to the organizers. Thank you so much.
A big journey of shared knowledge like this, particularly when you are counted to be amongst them, it really pays so much. You'll reflect backwards and really say, yes, there was a question of, say, aloofness into the kind of activities that we engage in. But 2 years down the line, that you find that, yes, there is indeed an immersion that makes the sector even thrive a lot better. It also triggers the mind to think again on certain provoking issues that came through during the meeting itself or the forum itself, and you say, yeah, this came up during the session. It touched on personnel that we engaged with every other time. Look at how we have been able to address it. Look at how the industry has been able to participate and address it forthwith. And then the element of also co-working with other industry sector players. Collaboration remains one of the fundamental things that the Clean Expo organizers, and indeed the forums, would be looking at. We are keen to have even topical issues that go beyond what we will be discussing during the forum, such that it becomes a platform not only for converging ones when the Clean Expo is happening plus the forum, but a sustained discussion even on the digital platform as has been put forth by Joyce. Asante sana. So at this juncture, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to request our Operations Director, Jenny, to give us the immediate next steps.
We thank you for the patience. This was a very interesting session, actually. Some of us are not housekeepers, or we are not in this line, we're in the line of events organizing, but I have really enjoyed the session. So thank you so much. We have a cup of tea and some water just at the stand of the Housekeepers Association of Kenya. We decided that's where we are going to just mingle and do. I know it's a small space, but please feel welcome. You can just take a cup of tea and just come back on this side. Some of our exhibitors are still waiting for you. Please make sure you don't leave before seeing them, in case you didn't have a chance to talk to some of our exhibitors. They have also been so patient. We were supposed to close by 5. It's now 5:30, but they are still around. So please make sure you go. Asanteni sana. And see you next year, yeah, for the 3rd edition.